Okay, this is Dr. James VONDUTCH, or better simply known as Dr. James VOND. And right now, I've just arrived at Leamington, and I'm on the parade. And I came here by the 11 bus, the number 11 bus from Pooh Meadow bus station in Coventry. And today's date is Thursday, the 26th of March, 2026. So that's 26 March 26. And I'm walking on the parade right now, and the weather's kind of, I'd say, barely double digits, about 9 or 10 at the most. It's kind of chilly on the hands, and it's been quite a while since I visited this town. And the reason why I'm visiting today, I'll explain in this video. Okay, we're approaching the Jefferson Garden Parks. I'll just take my shades off. And that's just there behind me there, the Jefferson Garden Parks, if you can see. We're not going to go into that right now. And that's East Euston Place, where the estate agents are. Okay, so we're walking on the road adjacent to the Jefferson Garden Parks, and I'll mention why I'm actually filming around here, because this is a place further up, not exactly here, when we get a bit further, where I was actually residing in my car as a rough car sleeper. I've mentioned in my previous videos that I was at the Britannia Hotel on Fairfax Street, parked up there. That's probably my number one place where I park most of the time. But this is my number two place, the second after that one, in terms of length of stay in my car. When I was rendered homeless on 26th of April 2023. And if you can recall, my former family council house, mother's council house, was literally seized on that day, and I was given eviction orders served by Coventry County Court on behalf of Citizen Housing Group based in Birmingham. I've mentioned this loads of times in some of my videos. And I was forced to sleep rough in my car. I don't actually park it around here. It costs money to park your car up here. But a bit further down the line, if you get a parking space, if you're lucky enough, it doesn't cost money. So you can park up further up, but it is difficult getting a parking space. So you've got to arrive there quite early. I've got to mention that as well, in case anyone else is thinking of parking their car here. So this is my second number one, after number one Britannia Hotel car park kind of place in Coventry. So this is where I was spending quite a number of length of time. As a rough car sleeper. Before I was eventually found, I wasn't actually found here in Leamington. I was actually found in when I was parked in Britannia, near the Britannia Hotel, in May 2024. That's when I was spotted by the Jesus Centre outreach workers, the homeless outreach workers, and I was offered a 3-night stay at the Salvation Army Hostel in Coventry. And then after that I was provided with supported housing, and that's where I've been ever since. I'm still bidding on the Coventry Home Finder, they're the system that let me down very badly and miserably, even though I was on raised band 2 priority. And I've been on that for a decade at least. So even to this day, I'm still bidding on that for a place of my own, obviously. Obviously, that'll be just rented. It won't be actually my own place. So I'm not wealthy enough to buy my own place. Okay, this is the entrance to the side entrance to the Jefferson Garden Park. And it says the gates are locked at 6 p.m. There are some toilets there. I don't think they're open till 6. They actually close a bit earlier, around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock maybe. So these gates close at 6. Sometimes they close at 9 at the front end. But currently the sign says 6 p.m. And here's the spot now where I actually used to park my car. And it's actually, this road is actually called New Bold Terrace. And I'm kind of getting bold as well, but it's called New Bold. There's some very good apartments here. I wouldn't mind having one of those mansions there. So I used to park here. It's a kind of good area. And they must have seen me obviously parking my car here and sleeping in my car. But there are other people up here as well parked here. And like you can see here, it's very difficult getting a parking space. If you are lucky enough to get a parking space here, it doesn't cost up this part of the road. Further down, it does cost money. So do be aware if you are planning to visit here with a car. Obviously, I'm no longer a car owner. My car was scrapped. It failed MOT last year in May 2025. And I've been without a car ever since. I sold it for scrap. Just petty cash. I couldn't afford to get it repaired. The power steering had gone. It needed repair work on that. And also the suspension on the offside was also needing repair. And I was on minimal income flashing, so I couldn't really afford to get it fixed. So sadly I had to depart with it. But it was my home for a lengthy number of time. Sometimes I would park on this side actually, close to the mansions, if I'd get space. But most of the time I was probably up there somewhere, if I can just point around there somewhere, parked around here, where those cars are right now, on New Bold Terrace. And it's also some nice flats here. I could give a twirl in it on those balconies, but I don't think they've got those outdoor balconies where you can actually stand outside, so they're kind of sealed. Not really balcony ones. I can't really do a Hawaii 5-0 twirl like in, like the late Jack Lord does. Steve McGarrett, So I also park around here as well sometimes. And I'll just sleep in my car. My Peugeot 207 SW estate car. That was my home as well at that time, obviously, before I was discovered eventually or found by those outreach workers. A Romanian guy called Aurelian, and a couple of local women as well. But it all started when my mother was, my late mother actually, she's no longer around. She sadly passed away at a care home where she was held captive at the Harperfields care home in Balsall Common, Solihull district, which is about 7 miles away from BHX airport. That's where she's been kept. She died last year at the age of 81. I think her life was cut short. She was moved from her house, the former family council house, on the 24th of November 2021, and that's what ultimately jeopardized my stay there as well at the family council house. I tried frantically to put myself on the tenancy agreement as a successor, being next of kin, and they didn't actually allow that. At first they were going along with it, but then they changed their mind. They didn't do anything. Time was just passing, and then obviously the eviction orders were served on me. After a notice to quit on my late mother was served because she was no longer living there. They never returned her back, the care homes that held her. So she was literally snatched out of the house on the 24th of November 2021. And then 3 months down the line, if you can recall, the Ukraine crisis with Russia escalated as well on the 24th of February 2022. I don't know if that's got anything to do with my mother not being returned home, but obviously that ultimately jeopardized my stay there as well. So I was evicted as well. I couldn't stay there either. And I tried frantically to get myself on the tenancy agreement, like I said. They just wouldn't allow it. And fortunately, I was lucky enough to get my car, my Peugeot 207 SW estate, in the nick of time when those orders were served on me. I would have been just sleeping rough on the streets in cardboard boxes, you name it, whatever. It was that difficult and that bad. It was horrendous what they did to me. It's unforgivable. And country home finders are also unforgivable at that time for not letting me go to an alternative place of abode. They let me down miserably, very badly, and seriously, ruined my life, kind of almost. They should have provided me with an alternative place of abode to go to, even a hotel room like they do with refugees, etc. But they never did that. And I was forced to sleep in my car, which wasn't a very brilliant experience. It wasn't really a camper van. It wasn't really meant for sleeping in, obviously, or living in. I had to improvise somehow, so obviously I did sleep in that. So and I survived to live, to tell the tale, as I say. And this is my story at the end of the day, and it is unforgivable what they did. I was on raised band 2 priority, and Country Home Finder didn't give me any alternative place of abode to go to either. That's the worst letdown ever. I mean, they were allocated band 2 priority for myself. That's the second most highest priority, which renders you homeless. I mean, if you're rendered homeless, it lasts for up to 56 days, and that's how long I waited, and I never got anywhere, even in 56 days. And in fact, it was about 400 days or something before I was discovered. That's over 13 months. That's by the supported housing team, the homeless reach is not. They've got nothing to do with the country home finder system. And there are toilets here, by the way, in this park. I did used to use the toilets as well sometimes. There's also toilets in the library, which is next to this as well, which helped in some ways. So I was here the second most after the Britannia Hotel in Coventry car park. That's where I had parked up in the end of the day, where my car was. There are other locations I had parked as well, but they're not as significant as these two. The one near the Britannia Hotel, where I was found, and also this place here. I wasn't actually found here at all for any outreach workers. Obviously, this is a different town. You see, Leamington. I don't really have any local connections here in this particular town. So I can't really actually bid for property up here either on that basis. But I was bidding on the Country Home Finder, and I never got anywhere then or now even. Only in supported housing. Okay, remember that film Notorious? It stars the late Cary Grant and the late Ingrid Bergman. Classic 1946 noir movie, and also it starred Claude Rains. He was actually living with his mother in his mansion house, and then Ingrid Bergman moved into that house and abandoned kind of Cary Grant. She didn't actually. She's still in love with him, but she didn't actually go live with him. She was on a mission or something as an agent, and she got poisoned there. And then he rescues her at the end. That's the late Cary Grant. He rescues her and takes her in a car. And then Claudia Rains gets in trouble, of course. Claudia Rains. He reminds me of that Bernard Arnault. You know that luxury goods guy? One of the richest billionaires in Europe, in France, from France. Bernard Arnault. He looks a bit like Claudia Rains, don't you think so? And the other good movie that Cary Grant made was one with that film called That Touch of Mink. I think that's a 1962 or 63 movie, and that stars the late Doris Day, and she's actually unemployed in that movie. I like that scene when she's at the unemployment office, and obviously, and she gets soaked with the car that Cary Grant was traveling in, and that's how their relationship starts. I think she works as a sandwich maker there or something as well. Doris Day, that touch of mink. So he was quite into fairies, so kind of, but he made that other movie as well, Charade. That was with Audrey Hepburn, Belgian-born Audrey Hepburn. She's British, but born in Belgium. She died in Switzerland, obviously. A lot of these actors that die in Switzerland, they live in Switzerland as well. She's in that good movie, The Charade, 1963, I think it is, or 62. But she's obviously a brunette. She's not, like Doris Day or Ingrid Bergman, the Swedish-born actress, the late Ingrid Bergman. They're both blondes, obviously. And on that subject, talking about fairies and things, remember your fairy tales? What's your favourite fairy tale, eh? The Three Little Pigs? Does that ring a bell, maybe? Or Cinderella, maybe? If not Cinderella, there's Red Riding Hood, is it? Red Riding Hood? Rumpelstiltskin? Remember that woman with those long hair locks? And then he climbs up. Sleeping Beauty? That's another one, eh? Anyway, enough about fairy tales. I'll end this video soon. It's getting very long. So I thought I'd visit the site anyway. So it's close to the park. That's the convenience, and obviously there's access to the toilets here, the public toilets, which is useful obviously if you haven't got washroom facilities and in a car. And obviously I wasn't in a camper, man, was it? So I had to improvise, but it was a rough ordeal. Although it was enjoyable in terms of days out when I was enjoying myself, going to various different places. I was on the move kind of, and I could move literally just like that. I could go to the continent for day trips, which I could afford at that time. Day trips to Amsterdam or Geneva, Zurich, Bern in Switzerland, etc. And even Paris, I've even visited that, the day trip with my car, and went through the Eiffel Tower. Okay, the library's also there, just across. And they've got toilets there as well, by the way, public toilets. When it's open, that is, when the library's open. Evening times, it might be difficult, obviously, getting access to toilets around here. During the day, it's not too bad. Those places are open, so you could probably use those toilets. Like a lens for you now. Dr. James VONDUTCH, or simply Dr. James Bond, on 26th of March 2026 in Leamington.